What's the deal? So this is not necessarily a podcast, but more of an exclusive chill laid back episode. And I just wanted to give like some slight game because I understand that some of the stuff that I talk about for some people can be deemed a little complex, and obviously I just want to put more content out and stay more consistent. But I understand that some of the stuff that I put out can be deemed a little complex sometimes. And I know that a lot of the stuff is like, contingent on who you're dealing with, contingent on certain things. So I just want to put out a little bit of easier game. And some of the easiest game is, obviously choosing somebody who actually wants you. And I guess that's something that people don't always talk about as much. But but you got to understand with men have testosterone. And when you have testosterone, it gives you this ability to want to conquer, to be more ambitious, to want to do things more, to want to go after what you want to go after. Now, obviously, you can have anything you want in life, and that's one of life's challenges, right? Is to, to conquer. If you give man a valley of gold, he'll just want another. That's the nature of man. But when it comes to certain women, this is something that I've always been told by, like, the OGs in my old neighborhood in Queens, or like my uncles or cousins, is you always want to go after the girl who likes you the most. Or you always want to go after the girl who likes you a little more than she likes you. And for I would say obvious, because it's not so obvious. Because if there were obvious reasons, we'd be talking about it. We wouldn't have to talk about it if it was like common sense. If it was like tying your shoe or drinking water, right? But it's not so obvious, so that's why we're talking about it. But when you get into these type of situations, a lot of guys don't understand is a girl who shows interest in you versus a girl that is not showing interest in you pursuing and persuading her and convincing her to actually want you, is two different stories. Now, a lot of guys can get things confused. Whereas, for example, you may talk to a girl and it's not that she's not necessarily interested. Say if you approach a girl like a stranger off the street, and you're trying to talk to this girl and you're trying to pursue her, it may take some time to convince her to, give her your number or go back with you home, especially if you're trying to do it in one day, right? But that's not necessarily saying she's not interested in you. That's top tier game. So it's something a little different. But when you're speaking to a girl and she's rejecting you, and you're coming to me like, okay, B, how do I get this girl? How do I like make her like me? How do I game this girl? How do I get her? Now, now you're talking about complex situations, because now we have to know what the narrative is. We have to know the type of attention she's giving you. Because obviously, if a girl's responding to you, you have a chance. But the things you risk is, one, your pride, and two, that you might not get her. Because a lot of guys are having conversations with themselves in these in like their DMs or in these text messages, and they see that you're persistent. And because you're persistent and you keep going, it's intriguing. But understand, if that girl's not biting at you and not giving you a chance, that means that you're really not her first choice. Let's be real. You know when a girl is super interested in you. When a girl is super interested in you, you don't have to do anything. Like, it's so crazy. Like, there's times where I've talked to girls and like I'll say the most fucking corny joke and she's dying laughing. And I'm just like, bitch, it's not that funny, right? They be like, oh, send me a few pictures. I send them some of the most basic pictures, not even shirt off pictures, just basic. Oh my God, you are so fucking handsome. Oh my God. Da, 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 da. Like, you can do the most basic thing and they're enamored. They're in awe by you. They're in awe by you. All because they have very high interest and they're super interested in you. So you know what it looks like when a girl actually wants you, right? Versus when a girl's not so interested. Now, you do have some girls that do play hard to get, that do think that maybe like, oh, you're a little egotistical, or maybe you get a lot of girls and they make the assumption that, oh, you're a handsome guy, so I don't want to hype this guy up too much. But even still, they'll still leave context clues, right? Because a girl that's interested but doesn't want to gas you up, she'll still text you back. She'll still respond within a reasonable time, right? She'll still make it so that you're not completely being ignored. So that's one sign to know if you're being ignored or not. But the girl who's not interested in all is taking a very long time to text back, is responding days later, or consistently. Like if a girl responds like 8 hours later once, and then she's pretty consistent after that, or pretty consistent before that, that doesn't mean she's not interested in you. Because things actually do happen. We have to take things into consideration. Everything's not a fucking game all the time. Like everybody's not always playing games all the time. But a girl that's texting you back 8 hours later, 10 hours later, maybe 2 hours here and there, that girl's not that interested. If a girl's texting you back days later, that girl's not that interested, right? And a lot of the times, guys don't understand is obviously there's game for it. I don't really want to get into it that too much, right? Because the girl that's not texting you back so much, and you see she's playing games, you could just do the same thing, mirror her energy. You have a 50% chance that that may work out and may intrigue her a little more. Because girls play this game and they'll test guys. They'll test to see, all right, I know he's a good looking guy. I know he's getting game, but let me see how this works because I do this with every other guy. This guy's a little above average, so let me test it with him. And she'll see if it works. If you're not biting and she see, oh, you keeping the same energy, oh, no, let me stop playing because I can actually lose him. He's a good looking guy. I actually want to talk to him. He seems very interested. He seems like a cool guy. Let me stop playing games with him, texting back, right? But then there's the other 50% chance that she just really don't give a fuck. And that's how you know she's not trying to play the game. And she's not just testing you. She just genuinely doesn't give a fuck, right? But this is why I say you want to try to go for the girls who actually like you, the girls who show more interest, the girls that's going to be texting you back, the girls that's going to be talking to you back, the girls that's going to be, you know, very attentive to your messages and phone calls, the girls that are, down to hang out, the girls that are down to see you, right? Not the girls that are playing games. And this is why they always say some guys have the philosophy of talk to the girl that likes you a little more than you like her. But usually there's a correlation with that kind of girl. Usually the correlation is that this girl probably isn't as cute all the time, which is not always true. But usually the correlation, usually what you'll see is that the girls that like you a little more than you like her, you're not evenly matched, meaning aesthetically in the face and the body, like how she looks. That's one. Two, she's usually not as cute, or it's just something about her that doesn't usually turn you on. But you do have these situations that are a little more nuanced where she may not be like the cutest girl, but may have a banging body, or she may not have a banging body, but she might be super pretty. Not necessarily your type, but you would definitely fuck with her, right? And sometimes, and the reason why I mentioned the ambition part at the beginning is because you're not necessarily going for what you want when you find yourself in these situations all the time, right? When you find yourself settling for a girl or talking to a girl that's not necessarily top tier, or not necessarily the type of girl that you necessarily want. Like I know a lot of guys like thick woman, big butt, big titties, beautiful face, right? Very ideal. Those girls usually start at eights and up, right? They're usually eights and up. And not the girls that you think are eights, the girls that start at eight and up. And when it comes to those kind of girls, you usually like, damn, that's the girl that I want. But a lot of the times where you're not settling for that is usually the girl that likes you a little bit more. But see, the thing is, a man can be content with those kind of girls. A prime example is there was this interview with what's his name, with whatchamacallit, with Tyrese. And it's crazy because this guy's a fucking celebrity, and you would think that any girl that he talks to would be super grateful and super super happy to talk to a guy like him. But I guess that's not always the case. And you would think that, like, oh, because he's famous and because he has like money, he's a millionaire, has been in tons of movies, has made great music. You would think that a woman would be, ideally trying to get with this man. So, and he's like streaming, or he's live on a video, and he's talking with this girl behind him, and he's talking about how they met. And then he gets into the story of how, like, oh, well, we met here. And she was like, yeah, he's not really my type. Red flag number one. She's like, he's not really my type. And she's like, my type is more Paul Walker. It's fucking crazy. Crazy because first of all, Paul Walker's dead at this point, right? So he's not her type. And then she's giving you a type of the type of man that she actually likes, which is fucking crazy. But when you hear shit like that, these are the girls that are not necessarily going to be the most ideal situation. And even furthermore, the women that say, "Oh, he grew on me." If you're with a girl and you have a fucking girlfriend and she says, "Oh, he grew on me," that bitch was never really interested in you at first. Now, because there are a lot of nuances to relationships like anxiety and having game and romanticism and sex, which can play different roles that can grow someone attraction for you in that relationship. But if you're not working on these things, because remember, this video is a video for guys that have basic game. This is a video for guys that don't have real game, right? Like if you want some basic shit, it's like, damn, I don't want to play these games. I'm not really good at the anxiety thing. I'm not really good at the like, the romantic. With the romantic thing, it's easy. You fucking watch any fucking movie or listen to any fucking love song and they'll teach you about romanticism. But if you're not good at all those things, then it's like, damn, I don't know how to do that. Here's the most basic thing. You choose the girl that likes you more than she likes, more than you like her. Or you choose the girl that has very high interest in you, right? Because if you're with a girl and she says, "Oh, he grew on me," that means that for the longest part of that relationship, she didn't even like you. And then even still, how much she likes you is not equal to you. But then, like, see, this is the thing. This is why game is so important. That's why I tell everybody you should be subscribed to Patreon and go through those videos because you can change the dynamics. Even if you look at the situation with Travis Hunter, like when you look at that situation, if this, because he already has a purpose, she's at his games, she's coming to see him. He's more famous than her. Motherfuckers are at his game. I seen a video of motherfuckers at his game asking for his like shoes at the end of his game, taking his shoes because he has sponsors. He's probably going to get a great contract for the NFL, right? He's probably going to get a multi-million-dollar contract. Like he has fans. He doesn't have to wait on her, but because he loves her so much, because he doesn't have that awareness of relationship dynamics, which is basically game, you know, he doesn't know how to turn that situation around. Even though no homo, he might not be the most attractive guy, right? He might not be the most handsome guy, but he can compensate with it for everything else. Like no homo, but if he's good in bed, that's another thing that he can compensate for, right? That can raise her attraction. But attitude is everything. And you can change a situation around, even if a girl says, "Oh, he grew on me." You can make that bitch crazy about you. You can, 1,000% you can. Well, how you implement anxiety in your relationship, the things you do, like little nuances of relationship, telling her no sometime, going, time without speaking to her, little things that you can do. Obviously, if you're taking care of bills, if you like she doesn't have to work as much, if she doesn't have to work at all, that's something else that can contribute to you having high attraction. Because if you have it all, then these are the guys that are basically pre-selected to have multiple women. For example, if you're handsome, right, like myself, if you're handsome, if you have money, if you're great in bed, and then on top of that, if you have ambition and if you have a level of morality, right, if you're God fearing, if you're that ideal, goody two shoe, not necessarily a goody two shoe, but because nobody's perfect, but if you have all these things, like if you're obviously handsome, above average, and if you making tons of money, you can have anything that you want, and you can obviously provide for a family and take care of that person too. These are the guys that have propensities to have multiple women because you're already gonna have women coming saying, "Oh, I know you get all the girls. I already know bitches is in his DMs. I already know a lot of girls is coming for him." Right? She already has this awareness because if attractive girls is attracted to you, and you say she's an 8, 9, or 10, then she already knows other women are attracted to you. Oh, you got money because there are bitches that are settled for a dude. He's fucking looks like the shit I took last night, but he has money. So they'll still settle for him. But you're handsome. And then it's obviously as this girl gets to know you and then you're good in bed and you're doing all these things, she's going to be obsessed. But because you're such a catch, because you're such a rarity, because you fall into this 1% of a guy, they understand that, oh, there's a good chance that this guy might cheat, or there's a good chance that there will be multiple women that look just like me, or there's a chance that there could be women that look better than me that are coming for this fucking man. So if you create the illusion for her that she's the only one, she's going to be her P's and Q's. She's going to be her P's and Q's. Especially if you got game on top of that and you're implementing anxiety, she's going to be her fucking P's and Q's. Oh, where you at? What you doing? Hey, babe, I haven't spoke to you in a few hours. Oh, he goes a day missing. I haven't seen you in a week. No, I can't have this. Somebody's going to steal my fucking man. I got to see him. Oh, I got to satisfy him sexually. I got to drain his balls, because if I don't drain his balls, I know these bitches is coming for my man. Oh, I'm never going to post him. Why? Because I know these bitches are coming for my. That's why, like, ultimately you want to max out your looks. And this is, it just gave me another idea for another podcast. I'll write it down too. But look maxing, obviously, right? Just being your best self. But see, this is the thing. When you don't have all those things, which is most of fucking society, right? Say if you're average looking, right? I always advise everybody to keep your haircut. I've always had a haircut. I always have my hair's not done right now. I have it in a ponytail, but looking a little crazy, which is why I have my hood on. But growing up, I've always had a haircut. Me and my dad would get haircuts every week. I've always been on point, always been sharp. I could always talk, you know. But most guys don't take care of themselves like that. Yeah, some guys that are coming to me trying to worry about game, but they're fucking fat and over. How about you fucking lose weight first? You fat fuck. Right? How about you lose weight first? I'm not being mean. I'm just trying to be honest with you. Lose weight. Like, be fucking, at least don't be overweight, right? But some guys who don't even do that, but then they're worried about game, right? So for your average guy who's not as ambitious, who sits around and plays video games all day, who doesn't have any type of fucking game, that wants to learn all these games, how to get girls, how to get a rotation of girls, but your shit isn't together. If you don't have at least $10,000 saved up in the bank, bro, I will have $50,000 in the bank and won't tell anybody. I will pretend like I'm fucking broke, because that shit is not for nothing. That shit is in case of fucking dire emergency. I will let the fucking world come over. Like, if you need to fucking like have surgery or something like that, right? But those are like a little stash that you don't tell anybody about. And motherfuckers come here, I need this, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I'm sorry. Right? But you just have the basic things. For those guys who don't have the basic things, this is what I'm telling you. And this is the whole point of this video. If you want a fair relationship, if you want a decent relationship, and that doesn't mean you always have to settle, and that doesn't mean you only can have one girl. Go for the girls who want you more. Go for the girls who have high interest in you. And what does that look like? When you're texting a girl, she's texting you back on point, quick. A girl that wants to hang out with you, a girl that wants to chill with you, a girl that you know that is not playing games. She's not going 7 and 10 hours without talking to you. She's not going fucking days without speaking to you, right? She's on top of you. She's on your body, right? She wants to hang out with you. She's asking to hang out with you, right? Every time you see her, she's trying to get sexual. She's happy to hear from you. She's trying to call you. She's trying to speak to you on the phone. If you don't have any of those things and you want to have the most basic game, go for the girl who wants you more, right? It's like the classic OGs used to tell me back when I lived in Paraguay, right? The old motherfuckers are walking on the street. And you see me talking to a girl. Now I go outside the corner store before she comes out. And he's telling me this, like, what the fuck are you talking about? And as I get older, then I understand what the fuck this guy's talking about, right? But if you don't have any game, this is the most basic thing that you want to go for. Go for the girls who like you, and then you look for the signs when you're trying to filter them out. And this is going to be in the filtering mechanism. By the way, guys, make sure you subscribe to Patreon and take a sneak peek at the filtering mechanism ebook. I put it on a Google Doc. The first few chapters. It's going to be a really good book. I think it's going to be the ultimate book for everybody who wants to, learn how to choose the right woman. And I think that's one of the main reasons most men get cheated on. They don't know how to choose women, and guys are not even sure about this level of awareness, or this level of dynamics even exists when it comes to women to begin with. But yeah, choose the woman who wants you. Choose the woman who wants you a little bit more, or choose the woman who wants you more than you want her, right? And I don't think you can go wrong with anything if you go in that direction. But anyway, we got a question. AKB, can you make a video on what you ate while your everyday workout? Did you fast or did you eat? Um, this morning I had some eggs, but I didn't eat until one. My face is a little fat right now. You could barely see my bone structure, but I don't eat that much. And then when I do eat, I try to eat more protein, or I don't eat at all. Drink less juice, drink more water. But when I eat my food, I try not to drink water because I know that the acidity. If you drink water, it's not good for your stomach because it's the digestion when you break it down is not as good. Um, I know that it fucks with the acid in your stomach when you're trying to break down food. So when I do eat, I try to drink like a coconut water or like maybe a little juice or something. But other than that, I try to drink water. And that's why my face has kind of been breaking out. I got like some shit on my face. My face is breaking out a little bit. Most of the year, my face is fucking clean. I barely ever get pimples on my face ever. I try to stay pretty as hell. But but yeah, I've been working on my forearms. My forearms don't look that big, but they getting bigger though. Forearms and hand strength. But yeah, so that's basically that. Yeah, I can see the comments, guys. So this was a quick video. I want to give you guys some quick game, easy game for guys that don't necessarily have the best game. I'm gonna be back in like maybe an hour or so, and then I'm gonna do the actual podcast because this wasn't a podcast. This was just a random live video. And instead of recording it, I figure I just put it on here live, so this way you guys can see it. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna get off of here, and I'll be back in a little bit. So make sure you guys are tuning. What it says? I want to start a Substack. What the fuck is a Substack? But yeah, guys. Anyway, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to do the podcast in about an hour. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set it up so this way you guys can join and just just lock in before I start. I'm gonna set it up and then yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. And the next one is gonna be about we're doing a filtering mechanism with like with choosing the right girls. This one is about choosing crazy bitches, like but yeah, subscribe to the podcast. The link should be in the bio. Go on my page, Spotify podcast. But yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. It's Sunday, so we try to put in that work, a lot of work. Holla at y'all.